guest speakers. What's that? It's ready to speak. Right. Thank you.
right, everybody, if you want a Diet Coke or carbonated drink, there it is. There might be something else hidden over there, I don't know. Or you might have smuggled your own drink in addition to that. That's up to you. What you drink at the Touchdown Club stays at the Touchdown Club, right?
few, not yet. You get 41.
Nope. Hey, Jeff. Yeah, be careful. We don't want to lose you.
Don't lose you coming in.
Good. How are you?
I saw you from a distance at the game, so I knew you were.
Yes. It was great to be there. And hey, listen, not a better way to come on the Touchdown Club Monday than after that.
Good timing.
You know Adam Mitchell from Simmons, Chris White from Simmons.
It's Amos Chandler. Oh, thank you. How are you doing? Good. Thank you for being here as always. It was. It really was. Appreciate you.
I know. I don't know where he's at. I don't know. We're gonna have to start with that in a minute.
But now you and I are going to do our.
Okay, here's the deal. We're gonna pull 2 line shares over the side. And I'm not gonna do a formula induction. You have the choice. You can either do your first couple minutes there, or we can do it sitting in the chair, where we just do one more. You want to
I'll
start
do
here?
a couple million.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, then I'll introduce you that way, and then we'll go down to the front.
Sure. I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Hey, how long?
Where's the governor? You see the governor's people? You see the governor's people?
Let's get here.
We got to start.
Yeah, just start. We got to.
All right, check. Can I have everybody's attention? Are you glad to be in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Touchdown Club today? Holy cow. Let me I just think the best image that we can start off with at this meeting, Matt, if you will punch up, look at there. We got a Razorback helmet and a Miss America crown on top of it. How about that? My goodness, what a weekend, what a week, what a game for the Razorbacks. Savvy Shields, proud of her. We had a chance to have her on the buzz recently, and what a great young lady representing our state. So that was exciting. Had a great weekend. And looking forward to hearing Jeff here in a few minutes. Gary, and also too, the governor is supposed to be here today, and he has not arrived yet. So I don't hope I lose my Arkansas citizenship by starting the meeting without him. But I'm going to do it anyway. There's a what?
The Attorney General's.
Oh, the Attorney General. Is she over there? I don't see her. I don't have my glasses on. Well, all right, Gary, will you come up and lead us in a word of prayer?
Meeting doesn't officially start till the governor walks in anyway, so it's all right. How many of you joined me Saturday night on your knees in prayer? Right. Absolutely. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the beautiful day, the great opportunity we have to gather together with friends and make new friends and just have some fellowship together. Thank you for the food. Use it to strengthen us today. Help us to serve you every day of our lives. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Gary. How many of you got a chance to hear and enjoy Danny Werfel last week? Did you enjoy him? What a class act. Looking forward to hearing what Jeff has to say today. I'm sure it will be good. We'll do a little bit different format than we've done it in years past. And I think, Jeff, I'm excited about having Gary Pinkel here in a couple weeks. I want us to have a big crowd for that and show them how we love football here in Central Arkansas. Hey, let's welcome the governor right there, making an entrance. Asa Hutchinson, yes. Do want to encourage you, if you haven't joined, please join. It's really inexpensive. We'd love to have you be a member of the National Football Foundation, where you can vote for Arkansans in the College Football Hall of Fame. I know Jeff would agree with that. We'd love to have you in the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame. That's an option for you, too, if you just join up. But the main thing is join. And again, if you think it's too expensive for you, I'm sorry. We'd love to, if it's too expensive, I'm sorry. You can listen to it on the bus. You don't have to come here, or you can log in. But we'd love to have you. We'd love to have your support because we think this is one of the best clubs. As a matter of fact, Jeff, Danny Werfel walked away, and this is true what he said. He said, I'm going to tell you, that's one of the best well-run clubs I've ever been to. He said, yeah, he really bragged on I'm going to use. He said it's what he said. I've never seen a club that had so much energy and positive attitude, and everything was organized. So again, you guys don't get to hear that very much, but I wanted to share that with you because I thought that was from a guy who probably travels around and speaks a lot. That would be something you'd want to hear. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Let's officially, because he just walked in, I did a press conference recently with our governor, and he's such a great guy. He's not only a great governor, but he's a good guy. He loves sports. He's a great family man, great husband, great father. And he's also a great dresser. Look at this is the governor there. This is for a press conference for the Brewers Award. I don't know if can you see it well? Dwayne, can you see what he's wearing? Those are Razorback socks the governor has on right there. He wanted to show those off at the press conference with the Brewers Award last week, and he's a guy with great fashion taste. And Governor, thank you for all you do for our state. We listen. We love to have you on Mondays. I know you had Peyton Hillis and I think Felix Jones last year, and love to have you. Let's give him another round of applause if you could. Our Governor, Asa Hutchinson. We've got a lot of ground to cover to get to Jeff. Really excited about having him. I have to be, Rex, like a Dan Enos, Austin Allen 2-minute drill. I got to move. I want to thank our sponsor roll call. First of all, Twin City Limo. Dale, thank you for picking up our guest today in a Mercedes-Benz limo. We appreciate that. CJRW, Mark Raines is here, as well as Darren Gray, who is the CEO for Cranford. Great to have you here today, Darren, along with Mark. Thank you for your support of the Cliff Harris Award and what you guys are doing to help our club. Little Rock Convention and Visitor Bureau, we're really glad and proud to be called the Little Rock Touchdown Club. 103.7 The Buzz. If you have a friend that can't be here, if you want to send them a text, they can either listen online to our website or they can go to The Buzz, who carries the majority of our speakers' talk. And I appreciate their support at 103.7 The Buzz. War Memorial Stadium, glad to have them as a sponsor this year. Jerry Cohen, the executive director. Of course, you've got October 1 Alcorn State tickets, $35. They're on sale right now. And I think, is it next Saturday, UAPB Jackson State? Is that correct, Jerry? So another great matchup there, and we appreciate War Memorial. What's that? A week from Saturday, yeah. So make sure to support War Memorial. If you want to have a wedding or any kind of event you want to go out there, they're great to work with. I'll assure you of that. Real quick, Mike from Epic Health wanted to share something real quick. Mike, come on up and said they've got an event next coming up for guys that might want to win this or get a chance to win this. So if you could, from Epic Health.
Yeah, so two things. We want to acknowledge our civil servant of the week from Epic Health, and we also want to tell you about something really cool we're doing. Since we know we have a lot of Cowboy fans in the room, Epic Health is kind of known for our free health screenings. We've done over 11,000 since we opened in 2012 and saved lots of lives. And we're doing something you can find out more information about at our table that you all pass by on the way. And every time we're giving away a weekend to the Dallas Cowboy Baltimore Raven game. All the tickets, dinner, hotels, travel, everything's all included. So go find out more about that. And it helps us raise money to continue giving these free screenings. Our Civil Servant of the Week, we have a full program, so I don't have time to go into his distinguished career. But it's Judge Troy Braswell, and he was named the 2015 Drug Court Judge of the Year by the state of Arkansas, appointed by Governor Asa Hutchinson to serve on the Juvenile Justice Reform Board. Let's give him a significant hand. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. By the way, I know Jeff knows Dean Weber, longtime trainer, was a trainer for 40 years, had prostate cancer and had surgery to take it out last week. So what Mike and them are doing at Epic is a very important thing. And guys, go get tested. Go get that free screening over at Epic. Appreciate those words, Mike. Also, the Farm Bureau Insurance. Glad to have him there today. We've got three agents: Todd Dennis, Buddy Adcock, Lucas Perkins. We appreciate you guys. Where are you guys at? Raise your hands. If you need a policy on anything, look at those guys up today. Farm Bureau of Pulaski County, we appreciate their sponsorship, and they can write about any kind of policy you can think of. They want your business. Appreciate having you guys on board. Want to thank Wendy's, Nan Trammell. I think I ate at Wendy's 7 times this weekend. So as a way of supporting the Touchdown Club, or maybe I'm just hungry and gaining weight. I don't know. But thank you, Nan Trammell at Wendy's, for sponsoring the Dan Hampton and Willie Rofe Award. We certainly appreciate that. Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings, appreciate their sponsorship. One of the things, y'all, that they specialize is intellectual property. They just, I mentioned the Brewers Award. I gave the Brewers Award to the Brewers Award Foundation. And Judy Henry at Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings help with that. So if you got a trademark issue, copyright issue, that's something that they do. They also work on behalf of the U of A system in regards to copyright, trademarks. And I do want to say thank you, Judy, for your help on the Brewers Award and that transition and the intellectual property issues there. So if you have any of those issues, Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings is excellent to work with. Crane Auto Automotive. Where's my Crane guys? Right there. I don't have my glasses. There they are. So glad to have you guys here. No, Jeff Crane also sponsors the Northwest Arkansas Touchdown Club. So we appreciate Larry Crane's involvement. They employ over 800 Arkansans. So get by there and ask those guys to give you a great deal at any of their dealerships here in Central Arkansas or Northwest Arkansas. Coming up here in a minute, we have the Democrat Gazette High School Player of the Week, and he's a good one. You know, we didn't even check on compliance issues, Jeff. So I don't know if you can acknowledge anything I'm about to say, but we do have a future Razorback in the room, and he had a heck of a week the last 2 weeks, and we'll let Amanda Copley introduce him in just a minute. But I do want to thank the Democrat Gazette and Wally Hall for their sponsorship all these years. And finally, Simmons Bank. So good to have Simmons Bank. I was just talking with Adam Mitchell and Chris White. They're at $8 billion. It was just announced they've reached the asset level of $8 billion, closing in on $10 billion. And that is impressive, Rex. And we're really proud to have the Simmons support, not only up here on the head stage. I know George Macris is not here, but here every week. Give them the chance to have your business as well. They really have supported us here at the Touchdown Club and helped us go to another level. Let's give a round of applause to all of our great sponsors. Do want to thank the fine folks here at Embassy Suite who do such a good job for us. We appreciate them. Matt Johnson Production back in the back does all of our AV work. We appreciate Matt, does a great job. Dwayne Duncan takes all of our pictures, all 10, 20,000 of them over the last 10, 12 years. Thank you, Dwayne. RJ Hawk doing our social media, Hawk Media Solutions. Just remember, go to, and you know a great thing about Jeff, I don't think there's an athletic director in the nation that's more active on Twitter and social media than Jeff is. And actually, we'll talk about that in a minute. But so Jeff would know, at LR Touchdown Club is the Twitter handle, which you've already tweeted a few. He follows us. That's good. But thank you, RJ, for your work there. Make sure and go to our Facebook page as well, or hashtag LRTDC. All right. I do want to thank the amazing check-in ladies that we have every week. We appreciate you, ladies, for the work you do. Ron Skaggs, Lee Danner, Lewis Nally. These are members who come up and help do things at the beginning of the meeting when nobody's watching. We appreciate you guys always doing that. Debbie Wyman, thank you so much for the great work. We've got a full house tonight. This is a great crowd, Jeff, to hear you speak. But boy, should be a fun recap. Let's give it up for Rex Nelson, everybody.
Thanks, David. Time for the weekly recap brought to you by Simmons Bank. What you say we start with Arkansas over TCU in 2 overtimes? How about that? David, if we'd have been thinking, we'd have had frog legs on the menu today for lunch. Would have been a nice touch, wouldn't it? We should have been thinking. You know, that ended a 14-game home winning streak for the Frogs. That was the 3rd longest in the country. It was the 6th consecutive victory for Arkansas at Amon Carter Stadium. But I think we all realize this is not your father's Southwest Conference version of TCU. This was very impressive. Think about the road record. The last 3 true road games, at number 18 Ole Miss, Razorback victory. At number 9 LSU, Razorback victory. At number 15 TCU, Razorback victory. How about those Road Hogs? Hell yeah. Austin Allen, 17 of 29 passing, 223 yards, 3 touchdowns. But the one he's going to be remembered for, of course, not a pass, but a running play. Speaking of running, Raleigh Williams, what a night. 28 carries, 137 yards, averaging 4.9 yards per carry. 5th victory by an unranked Arkansas team over a ranked opponent since the start of the 2014 season. Now, of course, Arkansas is ranked. Dan Skipper, that huge block, his 6th career block field goals. That in itself is impressive, but this the biggest by far. In fact, Arkansas had lost the previous 5 games where he blocked a field goal. Toledo last year, Missouri in 2014, Rutgers, Florida, and Mississippi State in 2013. Never has one come at a bigger time than that. Great night for the Razorbacks. One serious note, though. I've got an injury report update. TCU quarterback Kenny Hill slashed his own throat, we understand. The bleeding is quite serious, and we don't know if he's going to make it or not. So that was just an update from the hospital in Fort Worth that I wanted you to have. All right, the three other Division I schools in the state all lost. Auburn 51, ASU 14. Auburn had 700, good gosh, and 6 yards of offense, 462 of that coming on the ground. The most yards ever given up by a Blake Anderson coach team. ASU falls to 0-2. UCA 1-1, 35-29 loss to Samford in Conway on Saturday night. Samford returns a fumble and an interception for TDs while building a 25-point lead in the third quarter. Bears did pull within 6 with 2:11 left, but Samford recovered an onside kick and ran out most of the clock after that. UAPB off to a bad start, 0-2, lost to a Division II school, Oklahoma Panhandle State 20-16. Panhandle had lost the previous week 59-21 to Sam Houston State. 6 Division II teams in the state from the GAC went 4-2 this week against Oklahoma opponents, with both Arkansas Tech and Ouachita getting upset on the road. Oklahoma Baptist, Gary's alma mater, upset Arkansas Tech 19-15 in Shawnee to drop the Wonder Boys to 1-1. Ouachita came out on the short end of a 45-38 shootout against Southeastern Oklahoma and Durant. Both teams had more than 500 yards of offense in that game. Ouachita's 1-1. Defending conference champion Henderson 2-0, very impressive 34-7 victory over East Central Oklahoma. In Ada, the Reddies led 27-0 at halftime in that one. Harding also 2-0, 63-7 over Southern Nazarene. Bisons had 478 yards of rushing, 478 on 72 carries. They run an option offense, one of the few that you see anymore, a double slot. So Henderson and Harding seem early to be the class of the conference. Southern Arkansas, though, also 2-0, following a 33-14 win over Northwestern Oklahoma and Magnolia. And UAM gets an upset victory. Boll Weevils 1-1. They beat Southwestern Oklahoma 35-28 in Monticello. Now, across the SEC very quickly, 2-0 Georgia. And as I drove out to Oklahoma to broadcast a game, I was listening to this on XM, and they were sweating. Their announcers had to sweat out a 26-24 victory over Nicholls State, of all places, between the hedges. Nicholls is a whipping boy even in the Southland Conference, where UCA plays. You never know, do you, Jeff, from one Saturday to the next. Nicholls actually led Georgia 14-13 in the third quarter. Florida wins for a 30th consecutive time over Kentucky. That's the longest streak of one school over another in the country. 45-7. Luke Del Rio throws for 320 yards, 4 TDs. Gators go to 2-0. Wildcats fall to 0-2. Kentucky, get this, last one in Gainesville, 1979. I was in college then. That's how long that's been. Jeff was in college then. Alabama is 2-0 after a 38-10 win over Western Kentucky, as Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin had a conversation on the sideline. I guess most of you heard Nick's comment on that. I won't repeat it because my late mama wouldn't like me saying those words in mixed company. Freshman Jalen Hurts passed for 287 yards for the Tide. Mississippi State rebounds from that awful loss to South Alabama. They go to 1-1, beating South Carolina 27-14 in Stark Vegas. Nick Fitzgerald sets a school record for rushing yards by a quarterback with 195. LSU 1-1 after a 34-13 win over Jacksonville State. Struggling quarterback Brandon Harris is pulled from that game, by the way, and replaced by a transfer from Purdue. Tennessee goes to 2-0, 45-24 over Virginia Tech before a crowd of, get this, 156,990. 156,990 at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, most of them were hoping they would see Dale Earnhardt Jr. score a touchdown. Didn't happen. The previous record, by the way, was 115,109 for Michigan over Notre Dame back in 2013. Maybe a long time before that record's broken. Missouri's 1-1, 647 yards of offense and a 61-21 victory over Eastern Michigan. Vanderbilt 1-1, 47-24 over Middle Tennessee. Ole Miss is 1-1, beating Wofford 38-13. Chad Kelly throwing for 219 yards. And Texas A&M moves to 2-0 with a 67-0 win over Prairie View A&M from the SWAC. Quarterback Trevor Knight threw for 344 yards in that game. In the game between the two newest programs in the state, Hendricks goes to 2-0. Lyon is 0-3. 49-14 Warriors in Batesville. After a 7-7 first quarter, Hendricks outscored Lyon 28-0 in the second quarter. In the SEC this week, Alabama at Ole Miss. Does anybody like Ole Miss to win yet again? Third consecutive time. Anybody? There's a few. How many like Alabama? It's going to be most of you, isn't it? That's what I figured. All right, Texas A&M at Auburn. How many of you like A&M to go on the road and beat Auburn? Curious. Auburn? Mainly A&M there. A lot of you not voting here. North Texas at Florida, Georgia at Missouri, New Mexico State at Kentucky, Mississippi State at LSU. LSU struggling a little bit. Anybody like Mississippi State to go in there and pull the upset? Handful right there. East Carolina at South Carolina, Ohio at Tennessee, Vanderbilt at Georgia Tech, and of course Saturday night we have Texas State, my wife's alma mater, Jeff, the Bobcats, at Arkansas. Also in the state we have Northwestern State from Natchitoches, Louisiana, coming into Conway to play UCA on the Stripes. Northwestern Oklahoma's at Henderson, and Southwestern Oklahoma's at Ouachita, and that's a day-night doubleheader, so you could go down there and see two games in the same day. Southern Arkansas at Harding, UAM at Arkansas Tech, and Northland College of Illinois is at Lyon. So games in Fayetteville, Conway, Arkadelphia, Searcy, Russellville, and Batesville. No excuses. Get out and see some college football. Thanks, everybody.
Did want to make mention real quick that this is the Rex. You remember they last year, or year before, I mentioned some of our members have a little contest each week, and they have a pick 'em. And Jody Crawford nailed the score 41-38 in this pick'em deal. So he's not here today; he's sick. So anyway, we want to give him a round of applause for picking that. I'm taking him to Vegas with me if he nailed that. I love the fact that all these guys get together to do this. Ralph Mashburn, I think, administrates that. Hey, it's time for our first high school player of the week. So grateful to have the Democrat Gazette sponsoring this again. And he is a great one, representing Cabot High School. Amanda Copley, let's give her a round of applause from the Democrat Gazette as she welcomes him.
For more than a decade, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette has been a proud sponsor of the Little Rock Touchdown Club. It's an honor to not only be a leader in covering high school football, but also sponsoring the Player of the Week, selecting players that represent the values high school football offers. This week, we can't announce our Player of the Week without mentioning our All-Arkansas Preps Banquet. The Arkansas Democrat Gazette's All-Arkansas Preps Banquet, held in June, honors more than 300 high school athletes from across the state who have excelled in now one of 11 sports. This year, we added wrestling, and next year, we're announcing swimming and cross country. Athletes, coaches, parents, and sponsors attending this year, we're thrilled to witness the senior quarterback recognized as our All-Arkansas Preps 2016 Male Athlete of the Year. Our Arkansas Democrat Gazette Player of the Week is a Cabot Panther that had the game-winning touchdown, a 3-yard leap into the end zone to help Cabot beat Pine Bluff 28-27 on Friday night. He also scored on a 39-yard run and an 85-yard kickoff return. Overall, he finished with 115 rushing yards on 16 carries and completed 8 of 11 passes for 113 yards. He has verbally committed to play at Arkansas and is here with his mother, Gretchen, and his coach, Mike Malham. Let's give a Little Rock Touchdown Club welcome to your Democrat Gazette Player of the Week, Gerard Barnes.
Thanks, Amanda. Jared, congratulations. I talked to Coach Malham, and they won again. They beat El Dorado in a barn burner this past weekend. But he also let me know that he rushed for 193 yards on 19 carries. Wow. And Governor, I believe you saw him play basketball against your grandson. Yes, and so he knows how. Is that right? Did I get that right? Yes, that's what I thought. Yeah, you know he's a pretty good player. So congratulations. And how about who knew that Malham was throwing 11 passes in a game? Hey, golly, I thought that's for a season back years ago. My gosh. I did want to say real quick, too, nice to see our man Tommy Smith. He's security over here. Let's give it up for Tommy back here in the Touchdown Club. I love my morning family at the Buzz. I've gotten so fat, Jeff, my button popped off this morning, and it did. I'm not joking. And my man Roger Scott sewed it up on me, and I'm all ready to go. Yeah, I know it sounds bad. It sounds bad. I did take my shirt off for him to do it, though. You know, I can imagine an 18-wheeler that's listening to the Buzz driving through. What am I listening to on here at on the Buzz? I'm going to introduce Jeff here in just a second, but I'll be brief. And then Jeff's going to say a few words from the podium. And then we're going to go down. We're going to do some Q&A for a little bit, and then we'll open it up for some questions. Hard to believe, Jeff, this is year number 9, right? 9 years Jeff Long has come to the Little Rock Touchdown Club. That's worth a round of applause. You've got the record. I don't know if that means anything or not, but you've got the record. And we take it with a sense of pride that you think it's important enough to come down here. And it's hard to believe that you started in 2008, that you took over 2008. And Jeff obviously oversees a budget of $105 million. $105 million, a little bit different back 30, 40 years ago for Coach Broyles. But this is one of the aspects I love about Jeff, and I want you to look to the screens. They don't roll it yet, Matt, but both Tony Ranchino at Channel 7 and Bo Mattingly up in Northwest Arkansas just happened to be rolling with their cameras on Jeff Long after the game. And so most, I want to tell you, most AD, and you know we're going to have Mike Perrin from Texas will be here at the end of for the James Street Award. Something tells me they're not like you. I don't think they get as emotional and happy. Now, this is the boss welcoming players and coaches in the tunnel. Matt, let's watch Jeff and see his. Jeff at? I think it's Drew Morgan. Uh-oh, we lost the natural sound. That's okay. Just look for Jeff. You won't be able to miss him, neither with Drew Morgan. Where's he at? Waiting. These guys have no idea who's in the... There we go! Look at there! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah! Boom! How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, the athletic director of Arkansas, please welcome Jeff Long.
That's good stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here, and I have made it a point to come back every year. You guys have treated me so well, and you know, Danny Werfel didn't tell you guys anything I didn't already know. You guys run an incredible organization here. I thank all of you out there who support football. Football is very important, whatever level it is, whether it's coming up from elementary through middle school to college. It's very important to have support, and we thank all of you for your support of the Little Rock Touchdown Club. I do miss Jim Roscoe because I was looking forward to hearing about my Ohio Wesleyan career. You know, it's been a few years, and Jim was always nice enough to inflate those stats of how good I was back then. So I'm going to miss Jim. So tell him I was asking about him, and he can write it out and send it to me if he'd like. I appreciate that. And those of you that complain about the price of admission. David talked about that. He said, too bad. I would never give a response. I would never give a response like that. But I will say, the price Rex is worth the price of admission. Rex. Now his piece is in the newspaper. That's a different story. And of course, my friend David Basil. You know, we always like to have a little fun here, talking about David and his interests and his love life. But I won't do that today because the governor is here, and I had to clean up a lot of my remarks because the governor's here. Governor Hutchinson, it is an honor for me to have you here. Thank you for coming to hear me speak, and I have nothing but great things for you. And it is great to have a Razorback in the governorship. So thank you for being here, and thank you for your support of our program. We got a number of folks out here I wanted to recognize real quick. Scott Verity, the executive director of our Razorback Foundation, is here. And I hope you all know about our commitment here to Central Arkansas, Little Rock, North Little Rock. You know, we have two Razorback Foundation officers, employees down here full-time now. Micah Struthers is here. And please stand up so they know you, Micah. And Susie, and I'm Susie Shin. They are development people. They are fundraisers, but they're also a conduit. They have information. They know how to connect our people here in Central Arkansas back to the university. So they're more than that for us. I thank them for their work down here, and they're having a great impact for us. And also have from Razorback Athletics, John Gourlay, who's in development as well. John, could you stand up? He didn't stand all the way up. He's legit. He's a legit 6'11" and 3/4. He's not 7 foot. He likes to say he's 7 foot. Before I go too long, you should Google him and his stats if you think mine were weak at Ohio Wesleyan. My friend, the Lehigh Snowbird there, whatever they are, Mountain Hawks, Snowbirds, he's even less impressive than I am. And of course, you all know Kevin Trainer. He's here Kevin's great for our program. And so let me real quick, and then I am excited to get to David's questions because I know he's going to unleash on me today. But I didn't know they were going to show that piece on the football game. But what an incredible game that was. I mean, would you... You know, there's so many things you can look at that game. What a gutsy performance. What a never yielding experience. Those kids did not give up. The coaching staff did not give up. We controlled that game for most of it, and then that fourth quarter came, and most teams just will. When the team comes back like that, goes ahead, you just will because you know you had it, and gosh, you let it get away. What a testament to a team and a coaching staff to, you know, pull from within to come up and win that game. I mean, you just look what, Dan Skipper's block, and you look at Austin Allen. What an incredible performance he had. How many times has a quarterback run for a touchdown, threw for touchdowns, and then caught an extra point? I mean, incredible performance. And Austin Allen was unflappable. If you watched him on the sideline, if you were there at the game, you see the TV, unflappable. He was composed and confident, and only his second start. We have great things in front of us from that quarterback position. You know, you saw Drew Morgan, Keon Hatch. I mean, Keon got me excited. I was trying to be composed. I was just trying to be nice, AD, and, you know, that's what we're supposed to be, you know, but Keon got me excited. So when I saw Keon Hatcher coming up the tunnel, you know, I know what he went through last year when he broke his foot, and the hardship, and the, you know, most fans, you know, you don't get that. We get to see these kids kids and what they have to overcome, the will they have to play football, play for the Razorbacks. And so when I saw him in the tunnel, he just, I erupted with enthusiasm and glee for him and the rest of his teammates. And, so I'm so proud to work with them. And Drew Morgan's a special young man. I got more text about his haircut than anything else. And I told him that, and he said he's not changing it, and as long as we're on a streak, so that's good. But hey, my MVP, and again, you really got to watch football closely, I think, to see this. And my MVP is, and it's not because he had a pick six for a touchdown, but you watched my friend Brooks Ellis that entire game. You see him going out to cover wide receivers who are far faster, far quicker. You see him covering running backs out of the backfield. You see him making stops at the line. I mean, that young man, I get chills talking about it because he was all over that field. He stood up on every play, and I think he willed that victory for our team. So I'm very proud of all those guys, and Coach Bealham has done just a wonderful, wonderful job. And I'm going to close my remarks here. We do put out an annual report, and those of you who are season ticket holders and foundation members, I hope you had a chance to look at that, because that really tells the story of Razorback Athletics. We are so much more than just wins and losses. We are so much more than the $105 million budget that we have. It's really, truly the stories of the young people, almost 500 that we have in our program, who are now performing at an incredibly high rate off the field. And I know my message is getting through when I'm getting criticized by the media now for talking too much about academics, okay? I know the message is getting through, but I will continue to talk about a 3.23 GPA for our entire program, for all of our student athletes. That is incredible. I put it up against any program in the country. And they're doing wonderful things off the field, and we're now graduating at an average of 100 student athletes a year, 100 graduates. Just 8 years ago, we were graduating about 50 to 60. We're now graduating 100 per year, and that's a commitment by the coaches, and it's due to the work of the student athletes, but it's the culture we've created at Razorback Athletics that I'm so very, very proud of. So with that, I will, David, let's go have a seat and chat a little bit, okay?
All right. Rex, make sure that mic's on.
All right.
We can slide right through here, Jeff. You sure can.
Is your best side the right side?
I don't have a best side. You pick whatever. Both my sides are pretty good. I'm just joking. It's a joke. It's reinforcing my image as it is.
Hey, give me that. Somebody said it was your backside. I don't know.
Well, as long as it's a girl saying that, that's okay. It's Roger, yes. You know what, Jeff? I didn't realize we'd have the governor right here at our feet. That could be a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a little bit intimidating.
Real quick, if you could, Matt, since Jim Rasco wasn't here, Jeff, I thought I would at least include this. I saw this on the internet the other day, and this is why you were hugging those players in such a way, because I think it sort of took you back in time. Matt, do you have that?
Oh, no.
Keep going. Because you looked a little bit different. I don't know when this picture was taken.
It's not the one in the uniform.
There's one in the uniform? Do you have that, Matt?
Well, let me just say, I played Division III, and I was a freshman, and the way you got your equipment back then is after all the upperclassmen got it, they threw you into a closet and said, find some pads. So, we weren't form-fitted.
There we go. There he is right there.
Look at that.
That's a killer. That's a killer right there. I like the hairdo, too.
Yeah, I got nice hair.
What year was that, Jeff?
That was for 1978.
1978.
Yeah, that was the fall, September of 1978.
I think once you're an athlete, you're always an athlete, and that's why you're in that tunnel only you have that kind of emotion. And people don't realize,
Please
too,
take that down. Thank you.
people may not realize that that you were on the coaching staff right under Bo Schembechler at Michigan. Is that correct?
I was, yeah. I spent a year with Coach Schembechler, and I was actually Les Miles' graduate assistant, and Cam Cameron was also on that staff. So I know those two guys pretty well.
I will admit it. I will admit this. This is the 9th year you've been here. I didn't think you'd be here this long. I really didn't.
Nobody did. Come on.
And I'll be honest with you, I thought there were some other high-profile jobs opened up that maybe you would want to get maybe back up to a Michigan or to a Texas. But you've been here 9 years. Why have you chosen to stay here when other maybe bigger opportunities have been out there?
Well, there are many, many reasons, as you might think. But, one of them, and I hope people aren't offended by this, but, Arkansas in some ways, we're a little bit of an underdog, okay? We're not the biggest state. We don't produce the most athletes of the schools we go against. And, I always felt like I was an underdog. I've always felt like I was an overachiever. So I've identified with Arkansas in a big, big way. And I know that when we achieve it, it'll mean that much more because we haven't had all the things that some institutions have and programs have. So we fight hard, and I love fighting hard for Arkansas.
Administratively, I think, off the top of my head, you were at Pitt as athletic director, but you also spent time at Oklahoma.
Yes.
Spent time at Virginia Tech. I think Eastern Kentucky. Is that right?
That's
and OU.
OU.
Yeah.
Rice. You forgot Rice.
Right. I forgot Rice. So
Virginia Tech. You forgot Virginia Tech.
I think I mentioned Virginia Tech.
Did you mention Virginia? Okay. So yeah, I've 10 institutions.
So it's interesting. So you come here to Arkansas and you replace a guy that's legendary in Frank Broyles. Looking back now, 9 years ago, what was that like? In the midst of that sort of crazy, but looking back on that, what kind of experience was that?
It was a great experience because Coach Broyles made it a great experience. He could have made it a miserable experience. We've all known programs where the former director has hung around the program, tried to stay involved, tried to guide the program, so to speak. But Coach Broyles didn't do that. I mean, he moved to the foundation. He was nothing but supportive. So that part of transition was outstanding. Now, he had built a tremendous legacy here and done wonderful things. So that was a challenge. And again, we always look for challenge. So our team accepted the challenge of making what Coach Broyles did even better. And I think, arguably, I think we have in many areas.
Well, I think it's probably out of necessity, but I think most people would say your way of running the U of A is different than what Frank did. It's, you're dealing with a budget of $103 million. Your staff's much bigger, more of a corporate type setup. Would you talk about that the way you run the program?
Yeah, it's interesting. People often categorize me as corporate. I've never worked one single day in the corporate world. I've been in higher education my entire life. To me, the business side of it, I've always enjoyed business. I've always enjoyed that piece of it. But to me, the business side was always to generate funds and revenues to put back in the program to build a program that is there for, the student athletes first that are in the program, and then the university that you're serving for, because part of our mission is to represent that university, bring a claim to the university, which helps the entire university grow. So, that's my approach. I consider myself a teacher, an educator. I'm not a corporate guy. I've never been in corporate world, but hey, to survive and to grow and to prosper and have a program that can compete like all of you want us to compete and win, you've better pay attention to business of intercollegiate athletics, and I think we've done that.
You've hired two football coaches, Bobby Petrino and Brett Bielema, both completely different, I think, personality-wise. Interesting, both good football coaches. Talk about in your mind when you hire a guy like Bobby Petrino or hire a guy like Brett Bielema, what goes into your thinking in hiring as far as what you want for the university?
Well, that's a difficult one to answer because I will just generalize and say, you need to stay true to yourself. And when you're an AD and you're hiring people, I may not have done that in one of those high-level hirings. you know, and I'm being sincere, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but our reasons. I answered a question in the Northwest Arkansas Business about what's the one thing you ask. Well, it's why is the coach in coaching? That's an incredibly important answer that coach gave, and you know. Brett, he gave an incredible answer. You guys have seen for yourself why Brett Bielema is in this. It's not about the acclaim. It's not about riches. Now, those things come along with the job, but if you're in it for that, and I think we can look around the country, and you guys can name some of those coaches that are in it for those reasons, and they're great coaches. They win. But what else are they doing in their program? I think what Brett does in our program with the young men, how he prepares them for life, how he prepares them to be leaders, how he prepares them to succeed. You know, and I'll throw Mike Anderson in there too. Mike Anderson does an incredible job in that regard. But you know what? We've surrounded ourselves with coaches. Either we brought coaches in that had that belief, or the coaches that were there that remained had that belief and have bought into what we brought to Razorbacks.
You know, speaking of the Brett Bielema hire, it was the day of the Broyles Award, and there were two hires that day. It was, I believe it was Gus leaving Arkansas State and going to Auburn, and Brett Bielema. And I think a lot of people were like, who is that? You know, down here, people were not as familiar. Well, now, you know, I think the state's gotten to know, you know, you saw the crowd we had here for Brett Bielema. And did you know when you hired him, you knew what kind of coach he was, obviously what he did at Wisconsin. Did you know he had this personality that 4 years later would be seeing episodes of being Brett Bielema? I mean, did you have any idea?
I knew he had a great personality. Did I project being Brett Bielema? No. But, you know, again, Brett, I told the radio guy, I mean, Brett's an incredibly intelligent person. He's not a dumb football coach. And there are some dumb football coaches out there that are very successful, so I don't mean to say that. But Brett is very intelligent. He has a marketing mind. He obsesses over every detail of his football program, and I love that. There's not something that goes unnoticed by him, and there's not one opportunity to teach his players that goes unnoticed by Brett. So, you know, I don't know what your question was, but I know this. I love working with Brett Bielema because of all those things.
Well, you know, it was a time when those first few years it was pretty difficult. Even for a guy who's been to multiple Rose Bowls, you're getting beat back-to-back 52-0 by the Alabama and then South Carolina. And did you always have confidence that it would get to this point? You know, because I remember one thing I admire about Brett is he never threw his team under the bus. He never said, I don't have the players yet. The cupboard was empty. How tough was it during that time? Take a guy who's so used to being successful. What was your relationship like, and what was some of the, you know, the discussions then?
Obviously, it's easy for me to say that, you know, I believed in him, and because now we see that. But I did. I honestly did not have any second doubts about myself about that hire. I saw what he did at Wisconsin, and he took over a program from Barry Alvarez, who built a great program. But long after he had the players of Coach Alvarez, he brought in and developed his own players and was highly successful. And I did know what he was all about. I did know the relationship he had with his players. I did know that he does things the right way and will not cut the corner when things got difficult. And Brett never one time did he even come close to that. So, yeah, I believed in him big. I knew we would come out of it. It's hard going through it because we all want to win, and it was probably harder on Brett than anybody else in this room because he had never had that kind of lack of success. So, but no, I can honestly tell you, looking in your eyes, I believed in him from start to finish, and I still believe in him.
Well, you've got three things that you've been recognized nationally for. You know, the Bobby Petrino situation, I think the hiring of Brett Bielema, and then being on the College Football Playoff Committee and being the chair of that. How crazy was that last year with your schedule? Some people came out and said, you know, he can't focus on his job as AD. And talk about how that process was for the first time and the results you got last year.
Well, the process has been an incredible one, and to serve as chair, you know, is second only to being the AD and vice chancellor at Arkansas as far as an honor. I truly mean that. You know, to sit at the head of that table with Condoleezza Rice and Hall of Fame coaches, it was It was very intimidating, but I acted like I knew what I was doing. And, it was amazing. And Governor could probably relate to this, although he's much smarter and sharper than me. If you sit at the front of the table and act like you know what you're doing, they'll follow you, They'll follow you. So, I just said, my motto is just don't let them see you sweat. You're scared to death. You're shivering inside. You're looking down that table. But they were fantastic. The committee was fantastic. Great leadership team there. But going back to why was I comfortable, it's really because of the team we've assembled at Razorback Athletics and the Razorback Foundation. We have incredible people working in intercollegiate athletics. I'm very fortunate, and I think it's true for most ADs. We have people that are so passionate about athletics and so passionate about what we do for young people. They want to be on this team, and they don't work 8 to 5. They work tirelessly to benefit our program. And so I could be comfortable knowing I had a great team. And again, any accolades that AD gets, it really comes from the team. It's just like football. It's a team approach. One guy can't do it. One guy can't be the governor and lead the state. He's got a team of people, and it takes that in any business, any walk. So I was comfortable being there, doing that, because I had an incredible team back there running Razorback Athletics.
Yeah, I was curious. You walk into that room, and you've got all type A, high-level, successful people. Was there anybody that sort of surprised you, or just with the way they handled themselves, dominated the room, bigger than life personality, calmer, quieter? Tom Osborne, Condoleezza Rice, Alvarez, a few others.
Well, we're not supposed to talk about the people in the room, but I will tell you there was one person that you guys can probably figure it out that was by far the most intelligent person in the room. And she was the one everybody... Oh, wait. That person was the one everybody gravitated to after the meetings, after football meetings. We sat and listened to her thoughts and views on the current world and all that. So it was a fascinating experience. But, there were a lot of people, a lot of really football-savvy people in that room. I mean, again, Hall of Fame coaches. But one person dominated the room, and I do think the human element in picking teams was very much needed, and I think it's recognized as a positive way to do it.
You mentioned some of the folks here on your staff. You're sort of a, you want to help with that, Rex? Don't let him fall off there. You're an out-of-state guy. I am too. I've been here a little bit longer, but I know also too in the Razorback Foundation, you've got Scott Verity, who's an Arkansan, you've chose to bring on Dean Weber and keep him there. Norm DeBryan. How important is it to you to have that Arkansas flavor in your athletic department?
No question. Again, I think one of the criticisms I had early on is I was bringing in all these non-Arkansas, but truthfully, that wasn't true. I mean, Matt Trantham, my senior associate facilities, is Hot Springs, and Clayton Hamilton, my CFO, is from right here in Little Rock. And so we've always had a good mix of Arkansas. And it is important because they know the states. And my team will know. They know how many times I turn to them and say, okay, I didn't grow up here. How does this play for those of you that grew up here, know the state, know the players, and know all this tradition? I need their input, and they give it. They know I openly welcome it, and we're very sensitive to that, to knowing what this state's all about, and they add that.
High-profile decision recently to expand the stadium in Fayetteville. Some people said it's too much, too expensive. You've gone through the process. Senator Pryor was against it. I think maybe 2 board members. Any thoughts on that? A lot of people remember, the situation with Little Rock and Fayetteville, and that actually started before you started with Frank Broyles. Just your thought on that, and if you could, maybe some comments about War Memorial.
Well, many thoughts. First of all, I certainly hope this state doesn't turn the decision about Little Rock, the decision about adding to the stadium, Donald W. Reynolds, into a great stadium debate. I hope you all have seen how detrimental that has been to Razorback Athletics and our football program, to our state. To divide makes no sense to me. So I think people should understand, those of us in Razorback Athletics, and for that matter at the University of Arkansas, we understand we need the entire state polling for us. We've already talked about how we're a smaller state. So to be divided and you're only hurting yourself. And I've asked several people, why would you want to do something that would hurt the program and the university you love so much. So, again, I hope people don't turn that in. We're going to have a difficult decision to make in the future on games in War Memorial Stadium, and it will be a difficult decision, no question. Either way it goes, it's different. It'll be difficult, and we'll have to face that at some point, and that's what leaders do. We'll face that question. We're not there. We've got game in 16, 17, and 18, so we've not had discussions yet. My friend Kevin Crass is here, and we've not started those discussions because we didn't feel we were close enough to know. I said way back, we've got to see what the landscape of college football is and what our program is and where to make those decisions. And it won't be, as I've said before too, it won't be just the athletic director's decision. We'll have others who will have the opportunity to weigh in on that.
You are on social media. You do Twitter. Again, one of the things I do on Twitter, for those that don't know, you can log on and specify when somebody does a tweet. You can be alerted when they tweet.
Oh.
So I've got Jeff as one of mine, and I've got Brett Bielema and a few other folks in the media. And I'm telling you, it's amazing how you use that as a tool. I think I was up like 1 o'clock last night. I think you were retweeting and talk about how even though you're not a young guy, but yet you're using a young guy platform to communicate.
Well, on that first part, and this is really for all of us, you got to try to stay current. Those young people, I bring in a new crop of freshmen every year, of 17-year-olds. And if you're going to try to lead them and do a program that's in their best interest, which we try to do, you better try to stay current and knowledgeable about what's going on in their world. Now, it's hard for me to totally understand. I mean, I do have a 17-year-old daughter who helps me tremendously understand Snapchat and all these others. But you have to stay current, and you have to keep your staff to stay current on those issues because you got to be able to understand who your constituency is. So, but I like, Twitter to me, for those of you, I am going to show my age on this. It was back when I was a kid, my dad had a base station CB radio. You could be an anonymous person throwing out things on the CB radio, right? Talk to the truckers going by. And but, Twitter's a little
What was your handle, by the way?
Oh, I don't know.
Mine was a spec catcher.
Mine would change every time I got on. I disguised. Yeah, I was afraid, so I disguised.
Well, what about the negativity that comes with that? I think one thing that we've learned is that people can be extremely ugly. I mean, really ugly, and I'm sure they come after you as well. How do you handle the people that are real ugly with you?
Well, most of them are in this room, so.
Not true.
I faced them. No, I'm just teasing. You guys have been incredible the way you've treated me down here. You can't dwell on that. When you're in these positions, you're going to get criticized, so you don't focus on that. Now, there are things, those who send tweets that are informative about your program, and people send you things that you hadn't thought about and, cause me to say, wait a minute, is that really what's going on? Do we need to go? And so there's a lot of useful things. But, the hate mail or the hate tweets, you don't pay any attention to that. But those that have a real concern or complaint, absolutely. I pick up on them myself. If I don't, we have staff that monitors the Arkansas Razorback spot. Right. So we can get information. It really is a place for fans to share information. Now, we may not always agree with your perspective when you share that, but we hear it, and we do take it into account.
Oh, I'll do one more question, then we'll open up just a few before we let you go. It had to be really cool to be the AD and see the Razorbacks in the Olympics. I know that a lot of these are like your kids. I mean, you're around them, you see them all the time. Like Lexi Weeks, who's a Cambodian, and just talk about what it was like to have all those Razorback athletes in the Olympics.
Well, we had 17.
I did say Cambodian. That's what I called it. That's what it's called.
We had 17 either current or former Razorback student athletes in the Olympics. We had gold medalists. We had silver medalists. So we had people that just missed the podium. Stacy Lewis and I'm drawing a blank on our Jarian Lawson just missed the medal stand. They've both finished fourth in their sport, but incredible exposure for the state of Arkansas, the University of Arkansas, and you know what? Each one of them are just incredible young people. I love to tell a story about Jarian Lawson, and I'll tell it again here. But we were at the NCAA championships, and he had just won the NCAA championship in, I think it was the 100 meters. He won the 100, 200, and the long jump, which nobody had done since against Jesse Owen in 1936. So that's how historic it was. So again, I was fired up for Jarian, and I gave him a big hug after that last race. And he looked at me and said, "Can I stay?" And I'm like, I wasn't ready for it. I said, "What do you mean, can you stay?" He said, "Well, you know, I've graduated," and I did know he was graduate. "I'm working on my master's." He goes, "I want to stay and get my master's." And I said, "Well, of course, why wouldn't you?" And he goes, "Well, all the pro people, they want me to go away and train, and I want to stay in Fayetteville and train, and I want to finish my master's." So an incredible moment for me, and I get chills telling that story. But not only are they incredible athletes, they're incredible young people. And I can say it for every one of those young people competing. They're just exceptional.
I'll add one more question. What do you want your legacy to be?
I don't think in legacy. I don't think in legacy. I don't think in, I do get criticized sometimes for not paying enough attention to the past, and I don't. The past is important. I think we honor tradition. I think we've shown that, but people do criticize me for that, and I guess maybe some ways I could get. I'm so focused on the future. I'm so focused on what we can do for this group of student athletes that walked in the door in the fall of 2016, and how can we make it better for them? How can we help them realize their fullest potential, which is what we talk about in our mission, helping young people through athletics reach their full. So I don't think about that. I honestly don't, and I don't.
I was just thinking that we'll go ahead and open up for questions, and I'm just think, young man, you might be hugging this guy in the tunnel next year.
I'm looking forward to it.
How about that? You remember? Say, "I'm going to hug you like I saw last year on the video." Clint, yes.
Assistant coaches have become so important. It seems like we have an awesome assistant football coach staff. What lengths can you go to now as we move into the future to try to keep them as long as
Keeping assistant coaches.
Well, let me answer this by saying this. It would be helpful if you guys weren't tweeting me telling me to pay everybody more, okay? All right? It would be helpful. It is very competitive. Salaries are very competitive. And I do think we have a great football staff, and we've got, 10 more games to go, and we'll see what happens after season. But, we want to compete. That's why we are, working so hard to generate the revenue we do. Because, again, the message I get from Razorback fans, you want to compete. And, yes, our coaches are paid too much. Yes, I'm paid too much. But it's the market, and that's what you got to pay to keep good people. So at some point when we don't have the resources, we won't be able to keep those coaches. But I think you've seen the last 8 years we've been competitive. We've not been able to keep every coach that left us for more money. Some of them we've not wanted to keep, and we let them go. But we're going to try to keep. There's a balance there. So, it's hard for an AD because we've got to balance that overall budget. We've got to balance those salaries for not only the football coaches, but every one of our coaches on our staff. So my commitment, and again, it's repeating myself, but we will battle very hard to be competitive with those salaries to keep the coaches that we need to keep. Well, remember, it's non-competes are already there. I mean, we really instituted that in a big way. I wouldn't say we were the first, but we've certainly utilized that tool in our contract negotiations to help us maintain and retain those coaches. And remember now, it's a two-way street. They don't have to agree to that. So it is a negotiation, and certainly one that we hope to keep in our contracts going forward.
I was going to say one of the
Sorry. Well, again, that's a two-way street, right? I mean, they might look good today, but maybe not so good tomorrow. So.
You know what I was thinking, too? Nobody's talked about this. Wouldn't it be great, Jeff, that on your watch, could it happen that we could have our first kid of the Arkansas Razorbacks from a head coach? I don't think we've ever had, and really in Division I, is that ever something you encourage Jeff, Brett, and Jen to say, hey, we'd love to have kids run around on the – is that something that ever comes up in a conversation? Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe that's what I'm doing.
I work at a university. That's not something that we would talk about.
That's next. Next, yes. Oh, here we go. Johnny from El Paso.
Hey, one question. I was impressed with Bruce Philbin, Sarge, and Fox Sports about Brett Bielema.
Basically, you're saying how is Brett Bielema handling the program differently than what Baylor has done in regard to those kind of issues?
Well, first of all, it's not a Brett Bielema issue to handle. It starts at the head of the university, and it comes down through our Title IX office. It comes down through to the athletic director's office. It flows down through to our coaches. We've been educating our coaches. We've been educating our student athletes for years. So, I'm not concerned. We're on guard always to make sure a situation like that doesn't occur. We don't do investigations in athletics. That's not our role. There's a Title IX office on campus that conducts those things. We would never be involved with that. Our coaches know that, and they've known that for at least, and I'm sure beyond my 8-9 years here. But I would just say that our culture is different. It's one where we educate, and we continue to educate our coaches on a regular basis to Title IX and other rules and regs that the university and state has.
I think the other thing, too, is the kind of kids he recruits and the kind of standards he has of the kids he brings to Arkansas.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think our coaches have, you recruit character. You've heard coaches say you recruit your problems. But, we try to recruit character kids. But, there are a lot of influences on college campus, and we can't control that. And you know what? We think we recruit quality young people, men and women, to our campus. If they step out of line, you know what? We will take an educational approach at first, depending on the severity of the issue. There are certain things that young people do on a campus that won't be tolerated, and there won't be a second chance at our institution. But at the same time, we are an educational group, and we try to educate our young people. But there are things that cannot be tolerated and will not be tolerated.
One more question. Yes.
Yes, without Dan Skipper blocking that field goal, we don't win. He's an offensive lineman. They don't get the attention and publicity. That was the 6th career blocked field goal for him. He's from Denver, Colorado. Go back 4 years ago and describe how it was he got recruited to Arkansas out of Denver, Colorado.
Well, that would be a better question for Coach Bielema, but I did meet him in the tunnel going down to the field with his parents when he was being recruited, and he was huge. I never realized how short I am until I have a picture taken with one of the student athletes, and I realize, man, you really are short. But, Dan, again, I think fit into, the uncommon man that Coach Bielema preaches and talks about. He was an uncommon young man who came from a great family, who wanted to be a Razorback from Colorado, and he has been an incredible. The transformation of Dan Skipper is kind of a very visible transformation of all those football players that you see. What was Dan doing his freshman year? He started as a freshman. What would you guys most known him for, right? A little holding and maybe a little extracurricular activity, 15-yarders. But now, look at Dan, 4 years later, a leader. You don't see penalty. You see that self-control because he understands the value to the team. So I think that's one of the things that Brett teaches throughout his program.
Now, and I can't recall if I mentioned this. Game in Arlington, 8 o'clock, ESPN. That's been announced officially, correct?
Yes, I got that just as I was coming into the
so 8 o'clock, 2 weeks, the Texas A&M game, a game that's been close and that we just have not been able to get a win, but this maybe could be different this time.
Let's hope so.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is 9 years in a row. Let's give it up for Jeff Long. We hope it's next year. Jeff Long, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you,
Jeff. Great job.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Well done. Gary Pinkel next week, everybody. Great job. Thanks, Governor. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. For those who want to get your pictures with Jeff, just come on up. VIPs and sponsors. Jeff will do pictures right over here, too.